This is Ecotricity's EcoTEC Roundup show from Aotearoa's first and only climate-positive certified renewable electricity provider. We only source from wind, hydro and solar, and we are the leading supplier of electricity to EVs in Aotearoa. Search today at ecotricity.co.nz. Welcome back to another roundup of news from the world of clean cars and green energy. Thanks for joining me. We start today with news of pricing of the Kia EV9 in the US, with the entry-level model starting from $54,900 which is about 92,000 Kiwi dollars. That entry-level model will include 3-row, 7-seat layout, synthetic leather, and a rear-wheel drivetrain with a 158-kilowatt motor. Sadly, we don't know the official EPA range rating yet, but based on previous disclosures from Kia, we can expect somewhere around 223 miles, 358 kilometres per charge. It's worth noting that a longer range variant will eventually be available along with a dual motor all-wheel drive version. As to charging, because it's based on the eGMP platform, expect some impressively quick fast charging experiences. Nissan celebrated the 20th anniversary of its London design studio this week by unveiling an all-new electric concept car called the 2023 Concept. Unlike the majority of new cars that we're seeing come to market and the majority of concept cars being revealed, the Nissan Concept 2023 is a compact hatchback with some pretty strong design cues that remind me of previous generation Nissan Micras. With massive wheel arches and a big spoiler at the rear, however, this is clearly a vehicle designed to make the viewer want to take it out onto the racetrack. Before you get too excited, however, this is most certainly a concept car that I doubt will ever make it anywhere near production. That said, give it a more practical interior, and I think it might just sell as a production EV. As the Union of Automotive Workers continues its multi-week strike in Detroit, we are starting to see knock-on effects of the industrial action hit the auto industry, from parts shortages to lower vehicle production. This week, Ford took an unexpected turn as it tried to negotiate with striking workers, announcing that it has paused construction of a brand new battery facility in Michigan until the strike ends and any impacts of pay negotiations are known. Worth an estimated $3.5 billion to Ford, the plant near Marshall, Michigan, is slated to create 2,500 jobs and will make LFP battery packs there for Ford's future electric vehicle lineup. But now Ford says it's worried about the financial impact of the facility. Watch this space. While there are only a limited number of Chevrolet Silverado EV pickup trucks in the wild right now, Fastlane Truck got its hands on one recently, and its team appears impressed. The channel, which has done some extensive testing on other electric pickup trucks, including the F-150 Lightning, Rivian R1T and Hummer EV, took the Silverado EV 4WT, the work truck variant, out on a grueling towing test, comparing it to an older F-150 Lightning Lariat EcoBoost. Towing 6,500 pounds, just under 3 metric tons, the Silverado EV 4WT managed 232 miles, 373 kilometres, with 15 miles or 24 kilometres range remaining at the end of the test. That's better than other trucks tested thus far, but it also has a much larger battery pack. Honda has officially published more details about its upcoming Prologue SUV, promising an anticipated EPA range of 300 miles, 482 kilometres per charge. Based on General Motors' Ultium platform, the Prologue EV will start sales in early 2024, with Honda promising a starting price of, quote, the upper 40,000s. It will be available with 3 different trim variants with front wheel and all-wheel drive options available. The battery pack, 85 kilowatt hours, promises up to 155 kilowatt DC fast charging, suggesting it's using a 400 rather than an 800 volt Ultium setup. The other difference between it and GM's vehicles? It's going to include Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Mercedes-Benz has officially been given permission to start sales of its DrivePilot autonomous Level 3 driver assistance feature in 2 US states, California and Nevada. Unlike other semi-autonomous driver assistance systems on the road today, like Tesla's Autopilot, Tesla's Autopilot Full Self-Driving, Ford's Blue Cruise, Nissan's ProPilot, and many, many more, all of which require the driver to remain eyes up, attentive, and ready to take over at any point, Mercedes-Benz's DrivePilot allows the driver to completely disengage from the act of driving and do something else instead, like watching a movie or working. However, for now, the system is only approved to take over the driving duties on divided lane roads that have been mapped when traffic is moving at under 40 miles per hour or less, the kind of conditions that many of you might have on your daily commute. If you're in the US, you are probably well aware of the plethora of things that Republicans are doing on Capitol Hill, from holding impeachment hearings against President Biden to failing to come to an agreement with their own caucus on the US budget. And in addition to all of that, they're now threatening Ford over the very same Michigan battery production facility that Ford halted production on this week due to the UAW strike. Why? Well, it comes down to whom Ford has chosen as a partner on this project, Chinese battery specialist CATL, or CATL. Republican lawmakers say that Ford needs to provide documentary evidence to multiple House committees to prove that the partnership will not see US federal money leave the US and get funneled to the People's Republic of China. Yes, it's political, but honestly, I don't think it's just about China. General Motors' autonomous robotaxi fleet, Cruise, has come under heavy scrutiny in the last 12 months, mostly after errors in its self-driving software led to some hilarious predicaments for cruise vehicles in the San Francisco Bay Area. This week, Cruise self-driving Bolt EVs are causing problems in another US city, Austin, Texas, where a whole fleet of Cruise vehicles caused a massive traffic jam, with local roads backing up and nobody going anywhere very quickly. While we don't have permission to publish the video of that here, more than a dozen Cruise vehicles were seen getting stuck in the traffic jam, causing a headache for both local drivers and Cruise's team of remote operators. It's a bad look for the company, and it reinforces just how hard it is to properly do fully autonomous driving. Polestar confirmed this week that it's on track to begin production of the Polestar 3 electric SUV in the first quarter of next year, stating that final development on the car is almost complete. Due to share the same platform as the upcoming Volvo EX90 SUV, the Polestar 3 will be entering into an already crowded mid to large SUV marketplace and, according to the company, has just completed 2 weeks of hot weather testing in the UAE. Construction is already underway in South Carolina, where it will make the Polestar 3 and Volvo EX90 for the North American market. We should expect customer deliveries to begin sometime in the second quarter of next year. The Polestar 3 will be the first Polestar model to be built outside of the People's Republic of China. A civil case has begun in California between the estate of a former Tesla owner and Tesla after a collision involving a Tesla Model 3 killed the driver and 2 occupants. While there have been cases brought against Tesla before alleging defects in Autopilot had caused an accident, this one, involving 3 fatalities, is getting extra scrutiny. The plaintiffs argue that Autopilot caused the car to veer off the road into a palm tree, which ultimately caused the car to catch fire and kill all occupants. But Tesla counterclaims that the driver was at fault for not paying attention and says some alcohol was found in the driver's post-mortem blood test. That obviously also allegedly played a part. I'm not entirely sure a clear-cut resolution will be possible for this case, but as always, it's worth noting that no Tesla system yet is fully autonomous, despite what some people keep claiming. Before we get to those last 2 stories, a quick question. Are you in the market for a new EV? Because if you are, and you are in Aotearoa, you should very much check out our own buyer's guide at ecotricity.co.nz. It is packed with all of the information you need to help you pick a car that's perfect for you and your family, and includes plenty of details about the incentives you can get, charging providers you should sign up with, and of course how to get clean, green, renewable energy at home. So follow the link below and start that journey today. Joby Aviation, a company we're seeing more and more news about here on the channel, has just celebrated delivering its very first production electric eVTOL AirTaxi to a paying customer, the US Air Force. Part of a $131 million contract with the US Department of Defense and NASA, Joby Aviation said it delivered the first of several crafts to the DoD a full 6 months ahead of schedule. Now on base at Edwards Air Force Base in California, the DoD and NASA will begin official validation of the vehicle, examining its capabilities for logistical duties within the military. Both cargo and passenger duties will be evaluated, and if successful, the partnership will likely expand to include more craft. Watch this space. And finally, we have been covering the ongoing UAW industrial action at Ford, GM and Stellantis plants in the US for a few weeks now. And this week, we saw two different political figures visit workers in Detroit. On Tuesday, President Joe Biden visited the picket line at a GM facility, followed a day later by former President Donald Trump, who instead of visiting a UAW workshop decided to visit a non-union facility, where he actually railed against the current strike, President Biden, and much more. Telling auto workers that it didn't matter what happened regarding the strike, former President Trump made some pretty spurious claims about EVs, stating that all EVs would be made in China, calling EVs a hoax, and ultimately stating that making Americans go with an electric car was a, quote, transition to hell. Welcome to the 2024 presidential campaign, folks. I'm sorry on behalf of the USA. And on that note, we are done for the day. Before I go, though, do make sure you've hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the latest in EV news from this channel. And of course, if you haven't switched yet, why not? It is time that you switch to Aotearoa's first and only climate-positive certified renewable energy provider. It's super easy to make the switch, and when you do, you'll help the nation wean itself off fossil fuels and onto clean green power that will keep the land beautiful for generations to come. I'll be back next week as usual, and in the meantime, don't forget to check out the latest videos from Gavin Kiwi EV Shoebridge on this channel. Frankly, it doesn't matter what he's up to. It's always worth watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. Ka kite. See you next time.